Okay, good morning, guys. So let's talk about the principle of inducement, or what is an inducement. Yeah, still on how we read price using the SMC approach. I told us earlier, market moves in impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. Which in the last two videos I told us, once the origin of a correction is taken here, that's your valid break of structure. Call it break of structure, BOS, yeah? BOS. That's your BOS one. I told us you need two BOS to validate a trend. That's your BOS 2 to validate a trend. So what's an IDM? IDM is a short form for inducement. It's more like they are tricking early buyers or sellers into the market so that they will liquidate their positions before the market goes in normal direction. So your inducement now, IDM, your inducement now, IDM. Inducement is like a false push in the wrong direction. Let's go to the chart, yeah? So IDM is just a false push in a counter direction. What do I mean? If the trend is bullish, the IDM will be more like the first sales to continue in the main direction. Okay, let's say the easiest way to put your inducement is the first corrections leg. That's sorry. Let's say you have a first push here, impulsive push, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. Yeah. So this leg that causes the second breakup structure, the leg that causes your second breakup structure is your inducement. So now let's see one, correction, impulse, your first break obstruction, correction, impulse. The origin of your second impulsive push is your inducement. That's just it. Like you need your impulsive push, correction, impulse. So the origin of that second impulsive push is what is called your inducement, IDM. That's it. The origin of the second impulsive push, that's your IDM, short form for inducement. So you need impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. I know I told us already you need two breakup structure to validate your trend. So once you have first one, second one, your IDM now is the origin of this, the origin of that second impulsive push that caused that second breakup structure. That is your inducement. So you have your BOS2 here, BOS2 here, that's B2, B2 here, you have B1 here, you have B1 here. Okay. Then this origin of the second breakup structure now is what we call your IDM. IDM. So that's it. So let's go through it again. Let's go for the selling bias. Need your first sell, correction, sell again, correction. Good. So once you've had two breakup structures, one, that's your B1, breakup structure one. You can represent with anything you feel like. I prefer using B. That's your B1 there. Market corrected. That's your first sell, second sell. So once you've had your B2, yeah, once you've had your B2, the origin of that B2 is your inducements. The origin of that B2 is your IDM. That's how to read price properly, IDM. So for your bullish market, you need impulse, correction, impulse, IDM. Bearish market, impulsive sell, correction, impulse, selling market. So that's your bearish market structure. This is your bullish market structure. So let's go to the charts and see if we can get something nice to help us understand this thing more properly. Or maybe good. So you can see this push, impulsive sell, correction, impulse. Good. Look at this thing properly now. This was our first break. Market corrected, came down again, gave us our second break here. So okay, let's say somewhere here. Good. So where did this second break come from? That's your B1 here. B2 here. The second break came from here. So this leg now is your IDM. IDM, or sometimes I use X. That's your inducement. Let's go again. Let's go again. Good. We had this impulsive push, correction, impulse. Broke above here. Your B1, the BS1, corrected, went up again. And call this one your B2. Call this one your B2. B2. Then the origin of that B2 is your inducement. So this is your IDM, inducement of X. IDM, we call it X, anything, huh? So that's it. Let me look for more. Good. We had this push, correction, push. My first break, and this is your first break of structure, no issues. Can still take this one as your extreme first break of structure, no issues. But you have to mark where the candle closed below the last call. So you had this push, impulsive push, correction, impulse. So you had here now as your second break of structure. So let's say B1 here, B1 here, B2 here, B2 here. So where did your B2 leg come from? Broke, it came from here. This origin of the B2 push now is what we call your inducement. That's it. That's the idea of your inducement. You don't need this one, sorry. So that's your idea or X. Anyone you feel comfortable with. So good. So that you need two breakup structure to validate the trend. Then you need to see your inducement to confirm. Good here again. Impulsive push, correction, impulse. What can you see? Market give you your first breakup structure here. That's B1. So went up, corrected, closed above again. That's B2. B2 here, B2 here, B2 here. Then the origin of that B2 push is always your idea. And that's your IDN. or X. So the English definition of inducement, or the structural definition of inducement, is the corrections leg that caused, or the first pullback after a valid breakup structure. That's the inducement. It's better put that way. Here again, and see we have this push, we close below your first breakup structure, corrected, close below again. So we can see we had our first break somewhere here, B1. Then we had this valid pullback and close below again, giving us our second breakup structure. So the origin of that second breakup structure now is your inducement. So this leg now, this correction, this valid impulse correction now, this valid pullback that gave us the second breakup structure now is what we call the inducement. So that's it. Impulse again, broke above here, correction, impulse. This is our inducement. That's just it. It's not really hard. Just pick up your charts, backtest this stuff I'm showing us. Then on the next video, talk about your A+ setups and how to engage using the SMC approach. All right, guys.